world. 990WBOB.com. 990WBOB.com is an independent media outlet.
Live from the world headquarters of 990WBOB.com, the original 13th colony, spreading truth and slaying lies, a one-man gang in a war to restore freedom and liberty. Dan Bidondi.
All right, welcome to this November 10th, 2020 edition of the Dan Bidondi Show right here live on 990WBOB.com, Renegade Radio. And right now, theoretically, we should have a president that's officially declared a president than what the AMP, Associated Press says, and Fox says, and CNN says. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. We got a bunch of confusion. Again, 20 years ago, this happened. And it came down to Florida. We all know Al Gore was declared president. And later on, the courts reversed it, gave it to President Bush at the time. So now we got President Trump fighting for his life for re-election, literally fighting for his life. And the media has already declared, most of the fake news has already declared that Biden is the president of the United States. I have to laugh. Then for them to say he's got the most popular votes of all time. I highly doubt, as much as I don't like President Obama, man, I doubt that this pedophile, would get more votes than President Obama, And it's just utterly ridiculous to even believe this, because somehow dead people are voting, somehow people who did not registered voting not only once, but multiple times. So on this broadcast today, we got Jon Bowne from Infowars.com. I like to bring him on frequently because he's up to par what's going on with the politics and everything else. And that's what we titled the show tonight, 2020 Presidential Election Chaos, because that's exactly what it is. And, we don't want this election stolen, So that's what we're trying to prevent this, and there's a huge movement going on. So Stop the Steal, it's called. And that's what we're, trying to do, because there's no way in hell, I've been following politics forever. No way, that Biden beat Trump. Theoretically, realistically, Trump's already won this by a landslide. Not by a narrow margin, by a landslide. And it took voter fraud in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, Nevada. You could go on, and Michigan as well. They're pulling back votes now, so-called glitches in the system. That the Wisconsin, 6,000 votes that were cast for President Trump, somehow just a glitch happened and 6,000 votes went to Biden. Trump was leading 800,000 votes when they closed everything down in Pennsylvania. All right, we're going to stop the elections tonight. Everybody woke up and Trump had an 800,000 vote lead. Woke up and all of a sudden Biden's ahead by 150. How's that possible? How? And they want us to believe that 900,000 votes came in, all for Biden, not one for Trump. Yeah, and they got these ballots pouring in here in Rhode Island too. We had the congressional race, first time this Republican was supposed to win, Bob Lancia, well ahead. And, then bam, the incumbent useless Jim Landry ends up winning it, coming out of nowhere. And Rhode Island, right, 35% of the votes already win, right? 35, there's 65% more to go. Trump actually was in the lead, 90,000 to 70,000. He was leading here in Rhode Island, and the Electoral College here in Rhode Island, the 4 votes went to Biden. They declared Biden the winner when it was only 35% in. We got the screenshots from ABC, NBC, and the fake news here, WPRI Channel 12 in Rhode Island. So, Dave, how do you do that? You got the president ahead by 20,000 votes, only 35% in and reporting Rhode Island, and Rhode Island says, we officially declared the winner of Rhode Island is Biden. How is that possible? If you've seen the map of the state, man, the Providence, Central Falls, Pawtucket, 4 cities, Newport, that were only blue. The entire 85% of the state at least was all red. How is that fair? How is that possible? And you look at all the other states too, that Biden's supposedly leading, the entire state's just about is all red. and just a couple key areas of blue, and all of a sudden, bam. You know what I mean? How's that fair? How's that possible? It's not. You know what I mean? And they need to vote, cheat to win. It's disgusting. So Jon Bowne, he does his own news show too. He's an awesome journalist, and he makes tons of videos for Infowars.com, for ban.video. Check them out, guys. Ban.video, and amazing stuff. It really is. And he's gonna come on and give his take on everything, because he's seen it from the front lines himself. They got reporters from Infowars all over the country right now, covering these elections. You know what I mean? And the elections boards in there, Pennsylvania, telling people, "Oh, you can't come in." The observers, only Democratic observers are allowed in. Even the courts are made an order. Say, "Hey, listen, let them in. You can't do this." They still refuse to have Trump supporters, the Republican overseers there into the ballot booth. So what's going to come out of this, guys? You know what I mean? Really, if somehow Biden wins, guys, you're talking about forced inoculations, okay? You're talking about lockdown for at least a year to two in this country. The entire country locked down, forced mask wearing, violating every fundamental constitutional right that you have. You know, lockdowns, curfews, the total control grid in this whole country. Turn the United States of America to the United States of prisons. And that's what they want to do. And here's the thing. You don't have to take my word for it. You go to the Biden's campaign website. And Biden made a speech Monday saying what he's going to do. You know what I mean? So we're looking at total tyranny, guys. We're looking at a total lockdown in the United States of America. And we got Jon Bowne on the phone. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, Dan. Good. Good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. And this is crazy, man. And who the hell is the AMP, Associated Press, have any authority or right to say who the president is when half the other news agencies don't even got it right? Nobody knows who the president is, and it's crazy, man.
Yeah, if you check every different news agency, you're going to get a different set of numbers as far as electoral votes. But it's really sad to see the Associated Press, which used to be an actual journalistic enterprise in the United States that held the standard worldwide for journalism, when there were journalists. I'm just not sure there are journalists anymore. What we've got in front of us is what is known as the Fourth Estate. And the Fourth Estate used to be a watchdog, but now the Fourth Estate, meaning the press, has become another part of the bureaucracy. And so they are deciding, even Fox News is deciding that, Joe Biden wins in Arizona. And we're still waiting on the actual results of that election, but there's so much fraud across the board. There, of course, are a lot of fraud cases that can be debated, but there are a lot that can't. When you stop people from watching the polls and watching the ballots being counted, and now we've got the latest on that is there's a report that there was a list of the ballots that would be stopped at any poll location. Sorry, the ballot counters, the ballot watchers would be stopped at those locations. And it just so happens to be the 5 states where election fraud has been the worst in our history in this country. We've always had election fraud. You go back to the election of JFK and Nixon. There was election fraud there with JFK and the mayor of Chicago, Daley, and that was contested at the time, and that held over. And that was our first date with election fraud as a country. But we've just gradually, over the decades, we've allowed it to just permeate our elections. It was in the Hillary Clinton-Trump election. It was in elections before that with Al Gore. It's always been there. And we need to do something about it. We're the home of Silicon Valley. There's no reason why we can't tabulate correctly and efficiently all of the votes but this whole mail-in ballot scheme has made it where anybody can be anonymous, basically, and put in, not only one vote, but thousands of votes anonymously.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, that's nuts to even even know that could go on. You know what I mean? It just disrupts our entire election process system. And if the people out there that believe that Biden got more votes than Obama, more votes than Trump, and everything, I mean, that alone should spell fraud right there. You know what I mean? It's insane, it really is. And I mean, I don't know if you heard me earlier too. Rhode Island, right? Check this out. Rhode Island, at the time, it was 35% of the polls reported in. Trump actually had 90,000 votes already, and Biden had 70,000. Even publications across the country, is Rhode Island going to go red? There was a big issue, Then 35% of the polls reported in, still 65% more to go. With Trump in the lead, Rhode Island says, hey, Biden's the winner. He has our 4 electoral votes. How is that possible? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, they caught up.
That fake Cicilline up there.
Yeah, Sissy-Leany, we call him.
Sissy-Leany. But, Rhode Island according to the results of the election, is a very blue state. And I feel for you and the folks over there at WBOB and all the other patriots in Rhode Island, because you guys are surrounded.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's bad. We've got it bad here in Austin, Texas, where our homicide rate continues to increase after the mayor and the city council defunded our police by the tune of $100 million, and the mayor is saying it's got nothing to do with him now. So I feel you. I feel you, Rhode Island. I mean, I'm sitting in a city right now that is surrounded by blue bleep bleeps. But to see Sissy-Leany take was over 60% of the vote. It was huge. And then your other Democratic representative took a huge amount. And then Biden had a lion's share of the vote, too, in Rhode Island. It really, at the core of my being, it actually, it angers me that there are that many people that are completely clueless. How dare you call us clueless? Yeah, I'm calling you clueless.
Yeah.
Because Joe Biden is going to bring hell on earth. Oh, yeah, he's going to bring hell. Yeah, he is. That's who he's supported by. He's supported by a global consortium. He's supported by the United Nations. He's supported by all of the foreign interests that Donald Trump was stopping, that he was actually making your future better. And now you're going to see, if Biden actually does get in with Camel Toe Harris, you're going to see a couple of years in what I'm talking about. It's going to be worse than Obama. It's going to be naked Obama policy. It's going to be full-blown foreign countries taking over this country. He's already talking about renewing the Iran nuclear deal. And the guy isn't even in yet, officially.
Yeah, paying Iran money. Oh, yeah, here's some money to keep your nukes down.
Well, basically to make Iran a nuclear power. But the thing about the Iranian nuke deal was we gave them money to supposedly pause or slow down their nuclear capabilities. But all that did was fund all kinds of terrorists across the world that Iranian funds. And it was our taxpayer dollars that was doing it. So that's why that needed to be stopped. But he's also going to allow, Trump put a hold, or at least a heavy restriction on all of these people coming in from terrorist-sponsored countries where they sponsor terrorism, like Qatar and Syria and Iraq. And he's going to lift that whole ban. So, in the respect of the blue party trying to to look out for the concerns of people from other countries because they're bleeding hearts, there are going to be some bleeding hearts in this country, for real, because of that policy. We're looking at France as our future. Just France. Macron has a 19% approval rating. By the time Biden gets going, I guarantee his approval rating in this country is going to be lower than that. We're going to start to realize, all you Democrats out there, that this country does not need you anymore. And you need to change parties. You need to join with the rest of your fellow Americans because you're not a Democrat anymore. Only a name. Only a name. And so what we're going to have to do, because the Republicans are asleep and the Democrats are out for blood, we're going to have to create or push the Tea Party or some other party in this country that represents the rest of us. Because for all intents and purposes, the Democratic Party doesn't represent the middle class.
No.
You can sit around, we do thumb up your nose, and think they do, but Nancy Pelosi doesn't represent the middle class. Joe Biden doesn't represent the middle class. He'll sell you a bag of goods to make you think that they do, but they don't. They don't. Do the research. Sit here every day and look at the news and all the information about their ties to globalism, their ties to the voting computers that in Michigan, 47 counties were overlooked by the Dominion software.
Wow.
And votes were changed. They're having to go in there and fix those votes, and they're flipping over for local elections right now. There are people that thought they had lost locally in Michigan. Turns out they didn't, because the Democratic side of the ticket got hit by this fraud. So it's already happening. If it doesn't happen for Donald Trump, it's going to happen in other races, whether it's local or Senate or, the House. But, there are other things that are pretty daggone obvious, which is if we control the Senate and we won't truly know whether or not the Republicans, and I say we only because, right now the Republicans are all we've got.
Yeah.
But, if I'm just saying common sense controls the Senate, within January, there's 2 runoffs that are going to happen, and we'll know for sure. But they lost 4 seats in the House. So explain to me how, if it's so overwhelmingly for Joe Biden, 70 million, the last election it was in the 60 million, and this time around it was over 70 million for Trump, and Biden beats it. Now, we all know, we all saw Biden's rallies with under 100 people there.
Yeah.
And we know there was no enthusiasm. Plus, the guy is obviously senile, and we don't know how long he's even going to last, and he's now the head of our country, or possibly the head of our country. It's a very scary situation for all of us, even Democrats, whether you admit it or not.
Imagine Kamala is president.
And then Kamala becomes president. Hopefully Pelosi doesn't become vice president, because Pelosi may not have the votes to get her position back as speaker. But, it'll be some other idiot that gets in there. But, yeah, this situation is not good.
No.
For Republicans, independents, or Democrats. And, it's this kumbaya moment, and that's all this generation that Joe Biden lords over, this boomer generation, this 60s generation that has churned out these millennials that believe they're horse pucky, that it's this big kumbaya thing where you're looking out for the black Americans and the Mexican Americans. The Mexican Americans in Texas along the border voted overwhelmingly for Trump. when the last time around they voted for Hillary Clinton, they voted Democrat every time before that. You know why? Because when you go down to the border here in Texas, where I live, you go down to that border and you talk to some Mexican Americans, they are angrier than you could ever possibly be about that border.
Yep.
Because their jobs are being taken, their lives are being threatened, their homes are they're the ones being woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning by people asking for food or threatening them. And the other thing is, the mindset of the Democrats is this, it's this fantasy thing. It's this, where they take the Texas border. So they look at the Texas border and all they see is Mexicans coming across. Well, guess what? It's not just Mexicans coming across. There's all kinds of people from all over the world coming across. And Joe Biden's going to lift that restriction. There's going to be, something I used to report on years ago, and I'm pretty sure Donald Trump heard it or heard the report. But it was, just take a state like North Carolina, where all these illegal immigrants have come in and they've taken these jobs. And my report went on to show that there is this explosion of child rape in North Carolina by illegal immigrants. And it's all being covered up. And it's just off the charts. And it's still going on. And so Donald Trump comes out and he says, and, people are coming across the border and they're rapists. And that turned into this Donald Trump is a racist against Mexicans meme, this characterization.
Oh, I remember that.
And I wish, from my own perspective, I wish Donald Trump had gone into more detail. I wish he had played my report. I wish he had read from the reports of all these children being abused by illegal immigrants, American children being targeted, abused, and some of them killed, just in North Carolina alone.
Wow.
I'm not even talking about the rest of the country. And this is going on, and we're just letting it happen. And the Democrats sit there and smugly act like he's a racist, and they can ignore all this. Well, that's a good reason to have your teeth knocked out, dude.
Yeah.
There are children right now suffering because of your smugness and your ignorance. And this country is awake. And we're getting to the point to where we're going to have to create another party, or at least push an old party. And we're going to have to get all of our demands met. One of those being social media. At this point, the Twitter, the Facebook, YouTube, everything they've done to our First Amendment, it should all be shut down.
Yep.
They should have to start over. Forget about regulations, but they're too powerful. They have too much money. They put way too much money in, like the election against Lindsey Graham, or the $100 million that they put into this person against McConnell, and they both got their butts handed to them. But all that money from Silicon Valley went into these people. How about we just take you out of our elections? How about we take you out altogether? So
And
we need,
there's a big
as
swing,
a
man.
country,
Like
if we are going to survive, we need another party. The Republicans aren't going to do it. They're all a bunch of pampered, they career politicians.
Yeah, exactly.
And, there's a few of them that get up there, and maybe what they're saying they actually believe in. But at this point, I don't believe they're going to get anything done. They've had Silicon Valley sitting in front of them for years now. They just keep calling them up, and nothing gets done. This is our First Amendment that they're destroying. We are on the verge of becoming a communist country.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people out there in Rhode Island are just sitting back in their rocking chair looking at that lighthouse thinking, well, maybe that's what we need. Oh, yeah?
And you tell these people, too, like that vote for Biden, like Biden supporters, you ask them, say, have you checked his policies on his website? You know what I mean? Like what he wants to do? No, I haven't. It's like, well, why don't you go check his policies then come back to us to see if you still support Biden. As far as social media, man, I don't know if you caught it, man. Parler and MeWe are exploding right now. You see mass exodus going on Facebook and Twitter right now. People opening Parler and Twitter accounts. Parler and MeWe accounts. They're going, Brighteon versus YouTube. I mean, it's crazy, man. People jumping ship. And I still got my Facebooks open. When it shut me down, I mean that's it. I'm done with Facebook. And
but I think we shut them down.
yeah,
I forget about this. Hey, not forget about it. Sorry, but I'm glad Parler is blowing up, and I'm glad there are other alternatives. We absolutely need that, and I'm on Parler too, and more power to the new YouTubes. And Facebook is a freaking nightmare.
yeah,
but to allow them to continue, why would we allow them to continue? We had the people that have sacrificed for this country in World War II, in Vietnam, in Korea, in the United States, the people that are sacrificing right now, the patriots that are being demonized as Nazis when all they are lovers of this country. That's it. And they're not racist. And they're not all these things you think they are. They're not the boogeyman under the bed. They're the same people that went and fought for you and your future overseas, in Iraq, in Syria. Those are the same people. Those are the people you're demonizing. So you know what? Let's shut Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Let's shut them down. How about that? How about we start another party and we take our government back and we shut them down?
yeah. We should. And they're gonna. And plus, when just say on the business point of view, right? You got major people, amounts of people pulling off of Facebook and Twitter and all that, and you just say you're a business. You deal business. Are you really going to want to deal business now with advertising on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube when all these other alternative social medias are spotting up? You know what I mean? So you're going to want to move your business over to these other platforms where there's more people going over there now, and it's censor-free. And this is discussing, and it's all part of this whole ordeal where Biden we call him Chitcom Biden. I call him O'Biden, you know what I mean? Because he's the same thing as Obama, just about worse, I think. But, Chitcom O'Biden, whatever, wants to push this Chinese communist-style censorship here in America, which are already doing, the social credit scores, total lockdowns. I mean, it is unbelievable what this guy wants to push. And you tell these some of these Biden supporters that have no clue about any of this, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Well, really? Why don't you go to his website and read his policies, listen to his statements, then tell me it's a conspiracy after that? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's sickening, it really is.
Well, I mean, they're already, General Flynn came in and he was around for 22 days before they came after him.
Yep.
With the Logan Act, which is this old act they had to dust off and no one takes seriously, just like our Constitution, which says that if you're not in an executive administrative capacity, you can't make deals with foreign entities.
Mm-hmm.
You're subject to the Logan Act. Well, currently, Joe Biden is only the president-elect, if that. And he's already making deals with foreign countries. He's already violating, right now, he's violating the Logan Act. Yep. Whether you give crap about the Logan Act or not, he's doing the same thing that Flynn did when the Trump administration came in. Because, he's Mr. Plausible Deniability. I mean, they're way too powerful. These people, they don't put their pants on one leg at a time, So they think they're completely untouchable, which at this point they are. And it should anger everybody. It should anger even the Democrats out there. If you're a moderate Democrat, I'm calling out to you. Wake up. Wake up. Your country is dying because of you and the people that you support, that you surround yourself with. I'm not saying this out of conspiracy or misinformation. I deal with this information every day. I try to bring you a report every day that has all of the sources, that has the reason and the logic behind it, that warns you about where we're headed. And I've been doing it for, 10 years now, Dan?
At least, yeah.
And everything I've said, at least within my reports, has come to pass.
Yep.
Those things that you said would never happen, they've already happened, and you know they've happened.
Yep.
And I'm saying we're on the precipice right now. We either take our country back, or like a bunch of lemmings, we just jump over that cliff right into communist China. And this country is going to be divvied up by a bunch of vultures, and they're going to see their Agenda 2030, the United Nations Agenda 2030, and they're going to shut down. The whole world has been running on fossil fuels. Our civilization has exploded as a result of oil. Oil is everything as far as our civilization is concerned. And this guy is going to come in and shut it all down for a little whiny idiot named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's out there tweeting about how who's going to be in this Biden administration, because, it's pretty obvious. She wants to know if she's in the administration. That's why she's tweeting. But she's asking who's going to be in this administration, and then every time they bring somebody up, she criticizes them. Well, they're starting to name people that you've never heard of because they're globalists. And a lot of people that are going to be in that administration are former Federal Reserve people.
And they got our governor here, Gina Raimondo, Council Foreign Relations woman there. It's funny, right? They want to name her treasurer. Now, the thing is, like a local journal, so here, Rhode Island, Go Local Proud said,
Total globalist administration.
yeah, this woman was a treasurer here in Rhode Island. She stole $400 million. So the publication was saying it's like appointing Count Dracula is the head of the blood banks. You know what I mean? This is totally ridiculous, man. And she's a witch, man. Yeah, he's lining himself all with these wicked people. I mean, man, I'm hoping and praying some miracle happens or something. If
that Hunter Biden,
man,
they're on the stage, and you know what? Through all this Hunter Biden crap, with all the photos and stuff, the dude has the Finger Lakes tattooed on his back. Now, I grew up partially on Cuca Lake, which is one of the Finger Lakes, and to see that on the back of this traitor to our country really hurts. That he represents an area of the world that I love, which is just to the west of you guys up there in Rhode Island. So, I know about the climate. I know about, how it feels to be up there in Rhode Island. But and New York voted Democrat too. But there are a lot of patriots in New York too. There's some real hard patriots. So I know there's some hardcore patriots there in Rhode Island. But to see Hunter Biden come out there holding a baby after we've all read, if you were interested, you read the disgusting emails. You heard about what he possibly did with 10-year-old girls, but, his crack addiction. And here comes this, I've never done crack in my life. And here's this guy, this crack addict, who's out there waving at the country with a baby in his arms. How about you stay home, buddy? We don't want to see you. How about at the very least, can you just stay home so we don't have to see you? But they march that dude out there and rub it in our face, man. And that's what I'm saying. This country needs, and this country is angry.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to stop the steal going on, and it's not going to stop after Stop the Steal. It's not going to stop after they finally steal it. It won't stop.
No.
We aren't going to stop, and we need to not stop. We need to, everyone is thinking we're all like bumping into walls, like, the left is. They're supposed to be out there celebrating Biden's supposed victory. downtown Austin. You go downtown Austin the day after the supposed victory or the day of, and the left is out there on one side of Congress Avenue yelling, F you Nazi, to all the Trump supporters. And the Trump supporters are singing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
And they can't even celebrate their own victory. They're so full of vitriol and hatred. And
Never got that either, man. Like, how do you call people who, because everything opposite Hitler was, I mean, people who support gun rights and freedom of speech, religious rights. Hitler was against all those things. So how do they, I don't know, man. These people are dumb. They really are.
Well, and they're eating themselves.
Yeah.
Because out of the Democratic Party buildings are being attacked now. The headquarters are being attacked in Portland and Seattle. And they're giving speeches, Black Lives Matter is giving speeches about how they hate Joe Biden and is just another white man, blah, 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 and they're going to keep fighting. So, it's not as if they had this army out there. They've created this monster that they can't control.
Yep.
Of Marxism. And it's been created through our colleges, through the universities, even through our high schools.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's been pushed through our media, and it's being pushed by the people that want to be. See, they're second tier. They don't even realize it. The Ocasio-Cortezes and the Tlaibs and all the other squad and the Bernie Sanders, they're all second tier. They're second string. There's a far worse group above that is going to be in Biden's administration, and that's the globalists. He's going to completely surround himself, and we're going to go into Agenda 2030. And if you don't like my voice, you don't listen to anything I got to say, and I'm an enemy to you, and blah, 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 at least go look up United Nations Agenda 2030 and see if you like that for your future. Go ahead and look that up. And you want that for your children and your grandchildren's future? That's what you want?
No property rights, nothing.
You're not an American.
Nope.
You don't believe in a sovereign nation. You don't believe in this country. You don't believe that people went and fought for this country. I mean, Veterans Day. Well, as far as you're concerned, Veterans Day doesn't exist. But as far as I'm concerned, it does.
Yeah.
I know what they. In fact, I mean, you look at the Battle of Midway. Damn it! You look at the Battle of Midway, and that's Providence working its way through our country. That's sacrificing, putting themselves in the line of artillery fire from Japanese aircraft carriers they couldn't even find, that they only found through the grace of God to change the course of that battle. So we're still here. And people are laughing at that on the left. They're ignoring it. And we're not going to let that happen anymore.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, it's infuriated a lot of people, and just normal people in general that don't know too much. They're all frustrated. Everybody's just like stressed out, because nobody knows what directions we're going to go into. People are scared right now, being rightfully so, because if this maniac becomes president of the United States, man, we're in trouble. We're in big, big trouble. And, talk about communism, steroids. They're going to come lock us down. And then the firearms. I mean, me and Kamala Harris said they were going to introduce executive orders to come after our, quote unquote, assault rifles. And they're going to, it's going to be a total United Nations firearm takeover. Basically, they're going to come in, take our firearms. Well, at least they're going to try anyway, because there's militia groups. There's journalists reporting out there that militia groups are rising up even more now, which rightfully so. I encourage people to join a militia or start one yourself, because that's our Second Amendment right to do that. Because they're going to come full force against our Second Amendment, big time, and they're already attacking the First Amendment. So they're coming full force for our guns, and over my dead body, they're taking my guns.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's already talking about reinstating DACA. Which is controversial. We can sit down at the table and talk about DACA.
Yeah.
That's fine. But he's also talking about getting us back to the Paris Climate Accord, which people don't read the fine print on that deal. That signs small businesses in the United States completely over to foreign corporations, to multinational corporations. And not only that, every one of us will be individually taxed for questionable science. And I understand we got to take care of this planet, don't get me wrong. And I understand that even though we've had far less hurricanes in Florida than we did in the 1940s, yet the left acts like they're off the charts when they're not. And I understand that there's more ice in the North Pole than there's been in a long time.
Yep.
Yet the left acts like there isn't for their own reasons. It's a shell game. You're being sold a Rolex watch in Times Square, people. It's a fake watch. They're gonna take everything they've got from you. And Joe Biden is a veteran thief. I mean, you get into all of the deals, not just with the Ukraine, but the deals with China are off the charts, billion-dollar deals, and he's getting a percentage, and his brothers are getting a percentage, and little Hunter's getting a percentage. And it's all right there. But there's nothing. Our Congress is so weak, and you've got the Democrats on one side saying none of it's true. This is a distraction, and they're using it in an election year. No, it's just like what's going on with election fraud. We got to find out how off the charts criminal this is for our country to go forward. Just like we got to find out how off the charts criminal it is that Joe Biden and his family have been using his name to sell secrets to the Chinese a year after Hunter Biden made a deal with a company that has nuclear secrets in the United States with China. That company was investigated by the FBI. There have been so many national security threats through the Biden family that we don't even have the full number yet. It's off the charts. These people they're not only just criminals, they're putting all of our lives in danger.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you just made him the president.
Yeah, and John, we got about less than 2 minutes to go. So if you want to wrap up, man, and tell people where they can reach you. And yeah, you're 100% right on everything you said, brother. I agree with you 100%. And we need to take back this country one way or another. That's my opinion, man. We need to exercise our fundamental rights from the Declaration of Independence and the Second Amendment. You know what? You want to come take our rights, guess what? You're going to have a war on your hands, plain and simple.
Yeah, that's the most important Bill of Rights that we have. It's turning out, I mean, the rest of them are in deep trouble. But even the judicial stuff, our courts are in bad shape. But you can find me at dailynewscollective.com. Jon Bowne Reports on YouTube, as long as it's still there. You can find me at Newsbound, on Twitter. You can find me at Jon Bowne Reports on Parler. And you can find me at fan.video, Bowne Reports.
Awesome. Thank you, John. God bless you, brother, and we'll talk to you soon. And this is Dan Bidondi here. I want to wish all the Marines happy birthday, 245th birthday this year here from 1775. And also tomorrow, guys, anybody out there, happy Veterans Day. God bless you. Thank you for your service. This is Dan Bidondi out. God bless, and we'll see you soon.
The preceding program contained views, opinions, and thoughts that do not necessarily represent those of 990 WVOB, its management, or its staff. So now you know.
All right, wrap it up.